Okay everyone, here's my son's computer that he uses. He's not even using the external monitor because he gets so much lag when he uses it. But he's got my old notebook and he's got a Delgado capture card on it between his Xbox and the TV through DVI and USB into the computer. He's getting into a lot of video and audio editing and production. So I think it's time for an upgrade. So just kind of want to give you a before shot here of what he's got now. Of course, he's got the Snowball mic. That's a nice mic. So we're going to figure out what we want for him and do the upgrade. Thanks. So what we did is we decided on a AMD FX. It's the black edition, and if it's the FX 6350. And you can hopefully zoom in a little bit. There you go. It's an 8-core, 3.9 gigahertz with 14 meg total cache. The reason why I decided on this is price-wise. It's about 120 bucks. It fries electronics, and it specs out the same as the CPU I just put into my PC a couple weeks ago, which was an Intel 4690K i5, 3.5 gigahertz with a 3.9 boost. So the pass mark tests are almost identical. Matter of fact, the AMD is just a couple hundred points lower on it. So, but they're both in the 7,000 range, and this is like $100 cheaper. So that was cool. So that's kind of the foundation is what we started on. So now I want to get a compatible motherboard for it. I'm a big MSI Asus guy. So I went with this Asus, very inexpensive board. It was like 55 bucks. It's the M5A78L-M with USB 3 in it. And of course, the key thing here is it does support the AM3FX socket or CPU for that socket set. Like it says on the top there, it's got USB 3.0. It takes pretty standard 1600 DDR3 memory. It's got two video outputs, a VGA and a HDMI DVI D sub on it. So that's pretty cool. So when he wants to go to two monitors, we can definitely do that. And it's got a couple expansion cards in it, which of course we'll need if we do an aftermarket video card, and some other things that I'll show you here in a minute. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple board, but it'll do what we want it to do. So we needed some memory for it, and so I chose this Patriot set. It's two 4-gig sticks for a total of 8 gig, DDR3 1600. I've been having a lot of luck with Patriot memory lately. I've used it in 3 other machines, and seems to work really well for me. And the price is so-so. It's decent quality, and it's a decent price, so can't go wrong there, right? So we want to power things up. So I found this TR2 500 Thermaltake power supply. It's the same one that I put in mine when I did my upgrade. Very happy with it, and it was on sale for like 45 bucks. That was kind of nice. I think the memory was, I think this is about $100. No, it wasn't. It was about 80 bucks for the memory, so that's not too bad, right? So we got like 120 for the chip. I think it was 55 for the board. 80 bucks for the RAM, and then like 45 bucks I think for the power supply. And then we needed some network connectivity when we're all done with it, right? And we don't have any wired LAN access upstairs to his room yet. So I just got a TP-Link wireless LAN adapter there, a PCIX, which of course I do have a PCIX slot on that motherboard, so all that'll work. We're also going to use his 2.5 inch SSD drive out of that notebook. When it was my notebook, I put a 250 gig Crucial in it, and so it's still a decent SSD. So I just got an adapter to go from 2.5 to 3.5, so we can slide it in to the case. And a very inexpensive adapter. It's all plastic with plastic plugs on it. So I don't know how it's going to work. It might suck, and I'll just have to go down and get a real one. But anyway, I figured I'd give it a try. He's got a wireless Microsoft mouse already for the notebook. We can use that on the computer, but he does not have a keyboard. So I bought a very inexpensive, like $10 classic USB keyboard here. So we'll see how that works. Again, it might be shit, and we'll have to take it back. But I did find on sale and with manufacturer's rebates and a couple other things here, I got this at a really great price. It's a Thermaltake case, and it's pretty awesome looking there. It's called the Commander MSI Snow Edition. So this is the case that we got for it. And if I flip it around here, see if I can do that. Sorry, a little messy. There we go. You can't really see it like that. There we go. So you can see on the case here, it's got you know, plenty of spots. It's got 2 fans in it already, plus the CPU came with a fan on it, so that should be enough to kind of keep things cool. Both doors open up on it. Here it's got plenty of expansion slots if I want to put another motherboard in it. It's got plenty of hard drive bays. Here's a better picture of that. There we go. So you can see there I can put 1, 2, 3. I can put 4 3.5-inch drives in it. And then it's got some 5 1/4s up top. I can put, you know, CD-ROM, stuff like that up in there as well. So not too bad. It's got these quick release connectors on them to put the drives in. So it's kind of a screwless thing. So that's kind of nice too. So anyway, and it's very, very ventilated. So we'll see. And it looks cool, right? That's the important part. So here's kind of everything we're going to do. Still in the boxes, fresh out of fries. And that's it. Next video, I'm gonna probably I'll put the motherboard together, put the CPU on, the fan, put some thermal grease on it. It comes with that already. I didn't get anything special for that. I'm just gonna use the stock stuff. Put the memory in it, and then we'll film the motherboard, and then we'll just go from there, put it into the case, etc. So, all right. Okay, so we did some unboxing here. Here's my CPU, nice protective case. And there's the stock fan it comes with. Looks kind of nice. Got some nice copper tubing that comes up out of it. It's got the applied thermal grease at the bottom. It's all copper. I like that a lot. Aluminum cooling fins. So probably should do pretty good. I didn't even look at the wattage on that processor. Oh, by the way, I said that was an 8-core. It's a 6-core AMD CPU. Not an 8, but a 6. My bad. So, but anyway, the specs are still the same, just a couple 100 points lower than my i5 4690K. So I just screwed up on the core count. So there's that part, and then we got the board unboxed, and put a little light on there, as you can see that. It's got 6 SATA3 ports on it. It's got some USB up top here. It's also got some USB on the bottom there. There's the double videos. It's even got a optical out for audio if you want. So it's kind of cool. It's got 3 video ports on it, right? So it's got the DVI and the HDMI and the VGA. So it's got a single network, a couple USB 2s. You can tell the 3s and the 2s because the USB 3s are blue and the USB 2s are black. So, and it's got a sound chip on it, so you can put all your stuff in there as well. And it looks like you got a couple PCIs, PCI E16, I think that one is, and then there's your X down here. So cool. And then that came with a nice little manual, so you know where all the wires go, stuff like that. Came with a couple SATA cables like that. The header for the case, and it came with an install disk for all the drivers and stuff if you need it as well. So okay, so it's time to put this together. CPU in, fan in, then we'll swap the memory in. Okay, so we have our CPU and heatsink and fan all in there. Get a little shot there of that. Got it plugged into the CPU fan plug there. Put a little loop in it, take up some slack so it doesn't get in the way. And then our memory is in there as well. Our Patriot RAM is in there. I use 2 blue slots, channel A, channel B. It's 2-channel, so I used 1 on each. Gives me the maximum performance, and I've got them seated in the locks up as well. So look pretty solid here. Next part, I'm going to go ahead and tear apart the case, put in the little header backing plate there to the motherboard, and then we'll do a motherboard installation, hook up a whole bunch of wires to it. Okay, so we got the case unpacked, and you can see it here. Not too bad. So it's got a bunch of drive bays in it. It's nice and roomy, should be easy to do. And you got this whole swarm of cables down here we got to plug into the board. Nice braided cover over the fan cable. And I said before this had two fans in it. I thought it had one in the front, one in the back. It's got the one in the back, but it doesn't appear to be one in the front. So we'll see how it does. If necessary, it can take. Yeah, I can take not a fan in the front, I thought it was, but it can take two more at the top. You can see the holes here, so I got a fan spot here for it. And then I think you can actually put one down on the bottom here too. It's got high enough legs you could ventilate, but that's probably not the most optimal since heat rises to the top. So you'd probably want to push it right out the top and out the back here on the top. So we'll see. I think there's enough room and enough ventilation that cooling will not be a problem. Neat thing about it is the power supply gets to go down here as well. So I'm kind of not real fond of bottom feed power supplies, but we'll try it again. All my other cases have top ones. I used a couple bottom ones, and just for positioning and everything else, I always thought that power supply should be at the top for ventilation, because I'm really limited down here when the exhaust fan gets to suck in air or whatnot and then push it out through the power supply. It's down on the bottom. But anyway, that's just me, personal preference. And it came with a nice document here, Thermaltake Commander MSI Snow Edition, a little manual, and a whole bag of screws and a nice little speaker thing so you can hear the beep when it comes on. That's it. So time to slip this in down here and start putting this thing together. That's it. Later. Okay, I got my motherboard all in. Not too bad there. Everything went in pretty good. As you can tell here, most of these computer cases have the little screw-in legs, risers that come up to hit the board to go in the case. But these has these built-in risers in them. So when I opened up the bag of screws, I only saw one riser. And I was like, oh shit. But you know, I had a bunch more, so I went and I got all the other risers I had out of all my other motherboard cases, right? And then it turns out I didn't need them, but the one that it did come with for this screw right here, that didn't have a riser on it, but it did have a screw hole in it. So you can see the full-size boards can come all the way down here. I didn't get the full. I got a mini ATX, right? So so that's the name of that tune. There wasn't one there. I could put a riser here, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. So I'm not worried about that. So I got the chassis fan plugged in, CPU fan plugged in, memory in, CPU stuff, cooler, and I already hooked up the audio, but I got to figure out where all these go, where all these cables go here. And then we got SATA cables for the hard drives I got to put in here. Well, at least one hard drive. I got I got 4 500 gig drives still in that computer there, but I'm not even using them anymore. As a matter of fact, they're power and SATA unplugged down. I'm just using the SSD drive in that. So I'll pull one of those out and put in here for him for some extra storage. So he'll have we'll put a SATA down here on the bottom, and then we'll put the 500 up here because it's going to produce heat and it'll rise to the top. So we'll get it out of here instead of heating everything else up on the way. And I think that's going to be about it. So a little bit more work to do. I'm going through some manuals for wiring these things up and comparing it to what they have in here, the schematics, cabling. They don't give a very, check out this, their explanation for cabling. Here we go. That's it. couple little pictures, and that's it. And most of it's in frickin' German or Dutch or whatever, so that's cool. Anyway, that's it. I'll figure it out. Be back when I do. Okay, I decided to put the power supply in here, the Thermaltake 500 in the case. Fit in there really nice. There's a little L bracket down here it snaps into, and then it's got this bracket right here to keep it from sliding around. Just kind of slips in there, and it's got a nice little tab on the top. And then 4 screws just went in. 2, 3, 4 right in there, so it's nice and secure. Then I've got a whole spaghetti thing of cables there I'm going to have to deal with. And there's the main power supply for the motherboard. So I decided to do that because I'm going to have to plug this in. There's such poor documentation on this, which is kind of strange. I normally have pretty good docs with ASUS, but they don't even tell you what's positive and negative on these jumpers over here. So I'm going to have to plug all the power in and then figure out which one's for the power light, which one's for the reset, you know. And once I have all that up, then I can do some cable management on it. I know which way they all go and strap everything down. I can even use these holes here for zip ties to keep all my cables in order and stuff. So it should look pretty nice when I'm done. So anyway, bye. Alright, so I made some progress, man. Reading Hebrew or Chinese or whatever that shit was crazy. So anyway, good thing I had hooked up the power supply. So went ahead and plugged that into the to the board here, give the board power, and then I had to plug in the power supply to the CPU. Again, I'll cable manage this up so it doesn't hurt. And again, we got the fan plugged in there. Got all these plugged in. LED, power switch, reset, speaker, the audio. This was to the front panel. This is for, I think, because the docks, again, on the case are pretty shitty too. It only gives you like a couple pictures. But I'm pretty sure I'll look that up. That's the USB cable. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it says right on there, USB 3.0. But this doesn't have a USB 3.0 on it, so that sucks. So I'm not going to be able to use these front USB ports until I figure out something else. Maybe I'll put in a USB 3.0 card in here with the plug in it. Got extra slots, but oh well, that's what I get for saving money on the board, right? So anyway, there's that. So let's go ahead. Let's turn the power on. And ooh, look at that. We have a glowing green light right there. So we got power on the board. And let's go ahead and turn it on. Power light works. Fans work. Fan works. Should hear a beep. That's very important. It's going to go through. There it is. One beep. It's going to go through post. Power on self-test. There's another one. Perfect. One beep is boot. And then the other one went into the BIOS. Needs to be set up. And there's probably no hard drive. So it beeped with no drive in it. So that's cool. Looks good. So let's try the reset button, make sure that works. Let's press reset. Should post again. Yep, there's one. There's probably won't find a hard drive. Yep, there's two. And let's see if we can turn the power off here. Yeah, no more lights. Fan spin down. Alright, so we got success so far. So what I'm going to do is probably set this upright and bring in another small monitor. This is my monitor, and it's hooked up to this thing, so I don't want to screw with it. So I'm just going to bring in another small monitor in here and the keyboard so it'll finish posting and I can get into the BIOS and look at the temps of the CPU and stuff. It's barely warm. It's not hot. I run it for a little bit, so it's not bad at all. So I want to make sure everything's good there before we, start doing all the cable management and putting it all together. So, all right, talk to you later. Okay, well, I got the PC stood up and was very careful to make sure that the cables and power cords and stuff didn't touch any of the fans. Everything's looking really good. And of course, we don't have a drive, so we get a boot error on boot. So let's go ahead and reset this. And I just press the reset button. I'm just going to tap delete here until we get into the BIOS. There we go. Alright, we are there. So let's go down to system config. And I did update the BIOS from the ASUS website, so I'm at the latest one. I flashed that real quick. And everything seems to be detecting fine. 6356 core running at 3.9. It's got 8 gig of memory in it. So that's really cool. Let's go here. And let's go up to SATA config. We're going to use HCI on that, and if we put a CD-ROM in there, we'll change that one to IDE, but I'm just going to leave it as the way it is now because we're going to use an external USB if we need to do anything with the CD. So I'm hoping that the OS that's on this hard drive already will boot up in here and we can install the system drivers on it and etc. and not have to reload Windows. If we do, we do, but whatever. So that's fine. Advanced, I don't care about any of that. Power, hardware monitor. Let's take a look here. 44 degrees Celsius on the CPU temp. I would like that to be 35 at an idle, but we're using a stock cooler, and this thing is 125 watts. You know, 4 gigahertz, so it's going to suck up a lot of power. I could probably change the voltage, drop that down a little bit. It would underpower it, but it would run cooler. But I'm just going to leave it as is, and we'll see what it runs in under load when I get it all loaded up with the operating system on it, hard drive in it and everything. I don't think there's really anything else we need to look at, is there? Priority boot, tools. This is the tool I use to flash the BIOS, Easy Flash. I just booted it up with the ROM on a USB, found it, put it right in there, piece of cake. So let's go ahead and exit and save changes. All right, so I think we're doing pretty good here. I think we got a somewhat stable platform so far. So what I'm going to do is lay this thing back down, do some cable management on it, pull the hard drive out of that notebook, stick it in here, and let's get it booted back up again. So the next video you'll see all this will be nice and clean in here, and it'll have a hard drive in it, yeah, with the SATA cable, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so I pulled the, here I'll show you, I pulled the hard drive out of this Samsung notebook here, and I've got the screws and parts and everything for it here. So I've got another 2.5-inch regular drive I'll put in the meantime, because it's a good notebook, and I'll just re-image it and make it my little workhorse. I can play with it, put Unix on it or something. So anyway, and then we put it in that plastic case, and then put the plastic case in there. You can't see it very well, but it's in there. There you go, you can see the drive. Hooked up some cables to it and a power. Put the plug screw in there. It's very secure. I was very impressed with that. The neat thing about it though is that the way this case is, it's got like little spring tabs that hold the drive really firmly, even without the screws being in it. The screws, or in this case this little plastic plug, just keeps it from sliding back and forth, forward to backward, but there is no up and down movement or wiggle even without that. It's very solid, so that was very cool. And I plugged in the USB drive to his optical Microsoft mouse that he used on the notebook. I didn't want to install the driver right away. I don't have any internet hooked up to it, so maybe that's why. So I just used this wired USB mouse, and instead of the wireless here with the USB plug in the back. And so we're going to go ahead and do a basic config with that. So So let you know I did a little bit of cable management. I got to cut some ties and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to get it all put back together and get it all nice and clean. So update you later. Okay, things are getting fun now. I got it all booted up with the drive in there, and I got the login screen, rebooted a couple times. I got the video on there. I've got the wireless mouse working. Problem is I can't get the it doesn't, I don't think all the drivers are on there, so I wanted to get the CD on there and get it loaded up. This doesn't have a CD-ROM in it, so I use my portable drive here, ASUS, and that did not fly. It would not recognize it. Kind of interesting, but I never could get a drive for it. So I went ahead and plugged it into my machine, which you're looking at, and I'm copying it up to the NAS, and I plugged an Ethernet cable in the back of this, and so now I have internet, which is cool. So I got 52 meg download there, and I got the access to my Samba drive when I log into it here, and I can grab those files and install the drivers for them and stuff. So now it's time to get tweaky. So I will keep you posted. I'm still going to stick that other drive in there. I got to pull it out of my other machine first and then put it in there, and then he'll have an extra 500 gig to back up stuff, store his video files, and that's it. Keep you posted. Okay, it looks like I might have to reinstall EOS. So here's my PC. I pulled this Western Digital 500 gig drive out of here. I still got 3 more in there. I had 4 in there because I was playing with Linux MD RAID setups in there, but I'm not really using these anymore. I'm just using my flash drive along with the Samba server I have for storage and backup. So I'm going to pull one of these drives out and stick it in his, back up all of his data, and probably reload the OS. It's a little unstable, so I'm going to go ahead and just try and make it right from the get-go. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, I've finished up here. It was a long night. We have it all together. Wound up, I had some bad memory, so many hours of troubleshooting to figure that out. Luckily, I had a couple extra sticks of memory. I had a 4 gig set, which is 2 gig modules. So once I wound up replacing that, everything worked perfect. So very stable, and performance is pretty good too. So got it all together, getting ready to put the cover back on it and set it up for him this morning. I did put the Wi-Fi card in it, as you can see there in the back. Got a couple little antennas. Performance is pretty decent there. I'm getting almost 50 meg download up here upstairs, with the router being downstairs, so not too bad. That's pretty much it. Tucked all the cables away, got it all in there, moved all of his audio and video over to the extra spinning platter Western Digital drive there off his SSD, and changed his favorites so it would reflect that change, and so I think we're pretty good there. Things are running pretty decent here. I did some PC benchmarks, and you can see, I think it's the bottom one. Let me highlight that for you. Right there, that one is his benchmark, and then from here down I just grabbed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I grabbed 5 other random benchmarks in the database online with the same CPU, and he barely beats all of them there. Well, I'm sorry, but the that one right there, the purple one, is 8.3% faster, so not too bad. Overall pretty decent. Pretty happy with the way it came out. I gotta go back to Fry's though and swap out that memory. I do want the 2 4 gig modules in there. I want to give them 8 gig, not just 4 gig, so we'll be going back and doing that. And like I said, it was about a 4-hour deal figuring all that out. I thought I had some drive I/O errors because everything looked good until I would start accessing the disk, and then it would crash. But we did figure it out, so yahoo. I think we're going to wrap it up here. We're done. Have a great one. Okay everyone, good morning. Long night, as I mentioned before, troubleshooting that RAM issue. I still didn't go to Fry's yet this morning and replace that, but I'm just running on that 4 gig set right now. And later on this afternoon I'll go to Fry's, swap that out, and we'll just snap the other ones in. It's no big deal on that one. So anyway, so here's the new setup for him. Still got the Snowball mic plugged in. Now we have a external, you know, the notebook's gone, right? So we got the keyboard. We're using the monitor that we already had with the wireless USB mouse we were using on the notebook still. And there's the case, all humming along. And then his Delgado is doing a pass-through on this right now to the TV from his Xbox. So we'll take a look here. So we go into his Delgado. And it always takes a moment to get the screen. There we go. So now he can, the screen's dim on the Xbox. Let me grab the controller, see if we can get that working. There we go. There we go. So now we got the screen unbrightened. So now he can do all of his video capturing and stuff. I had to go in here and tweak a couple settings when I reinstalled the Xbox 360. Tends to like the here we go, right there. You got to put it on 360, and then since I have his set up at 1080, we got to make sure that's right too, or you won't get a display on it. Snowball mic works. We'll go into commentary, and if you look at the level right there, and I tap the mic, you can see it go green. So we're happy with all that. Let's close that. And down here you can see, since it kind of burned in, and maybe the you know, grease, you know, set in on the CPU and stuff, I'm getting some pretty decent temps there. So this right here, the green one, is my load. It's at 0%. It's just idling right now, right? And I'm running at 22 Celsius, so that's not too bad. I did some other, you know, disk I/O tests and CPU test, video test, stuff like that, and the CPU would get up into the high 90s for percentages. This creeped up to 54 once, but it mostly runs about 47, 50 when the CPU is being really taxed. So that's not too bad on the temp. I can live with that. If it never gets over 55, I'll be happy, right? It'll live long and not melt down. So I reinstalled a bunch of software on it. Right, his big thing is his Movies Maker, his capture card, Audacity, and free YouTube downloader, which he goes to grab all of his music. He grabs the movies and then strips them down to MP3s, and then he puts them in to his Movie Maker projects, and works like that. So that's kind of cool. So I think I got him everything he needs. I installed CPU ID. We'll take a look at that. And you can take a look here, and there's the specs on that. Everything looks really good there. And again, my main board, the memory is only 4 gigabytes. There's the clocking on it, 11, 11, 11, 28. And I got one in slot 1, one in slot 2. I got nothing in 3 and 4. So we'll get that other memory and take care of that. And the built-in graphics controller on this is the 760G. So not too bad. Alright, I don't think there's much else to show on this one, so I think we got it all back together and it's all working really good. My internet down here, you can see, is like really crappy in this room, so I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I might have to get an AC adapter. I've already got one AC adapter downstairs by the router plugged in, and I got one run, the other one run up to my room. I got a pair, so I've got you know, cable network connectivity in that one room, but we're pure Wi-Fi in this room. But you can see the signal's not too good, so I'm going to play around and adjust the antenna, see if I can get that to work. If not, then while I'm down at Fry's, I'll just get another adapter and maybe we can get him wired up here as well. So that's it. Well, here's some good news. I just moved the antennas around a little bit in the back of the computer there on the Wi-Fi card, and as you can see here, we almost got full bars, so I'm pretty happy with that. Even though it's connecting at 150, it's supposed to capable of a 300, but I don't know. I have to go in and get on that and see if I can get this thing negotiate a little quicker. But you know, signal strength wise, I think I can live with that. And it shows the same down here, the Microsoft little taskbar thing there. So I don't think we'll have to go get a AC adapter for this. So I was trying not to spend a bunch of money, so we'll see. Okay. Okay, so we went to Fry's Electronics, took back the bad memory, and for the same price, like exactly, not a penny more or less, they had this Corsair Vengeance 8 gig set, 1600 Pro Series. So we're going to slap these bad boys in. Oops. There you are. I can't get them focused. But anyway, we're going to put these babies in and see what we got. So that's it. Okay, so we got the memory in, and everything looks good. So let's take a look here at what we got. Zoom into this. So you can see here it's full 8 gig DDR3, and the channel up here is dual. That's cool. So we want to run at that. There's our megahertz frequency that we're running at. You can see the clocks on this are a little different from the other one. The other one was 11, 11, 11, and 28, I think it was. These are 3 9s and a 24, so I think that's a little better. And we'll come over here and you can see that again, all 6 cores. It's basically idling. I'm using zeros all of a sudden, right? And look at my CPU temp, very, very low. And of course, under a heavy load, it gets up low 50s, sometimes bumps around that area. I don't think that's anything to be alarmed of. I can always put another cooler in there if I have to. So I ran a couple fresh benchmarks. One is the memory test. Pass mark on it for this computer is came up with a number 1,260, and that's a kind of a logarithm they base off all these tests that they run on the memory and stuff. So and then here's where it compares to other memories of the same kind, better, etc. You can see here that there's some guy with some Crucial 1700 memory, and that is just super fast, right? He's probably got that way overclocked. Same thing with the Samsung up here as well, the 1280, which we have. That is just outrageous. So he's probably increased the voltage and really amp things up. We're not overclocking here, or obviously we can really skew our numbers severely. So and then the CPU again, we ran that. That's coming up the same as well. We're looking at about 7280 there for the 6 core. If you look up here, the 8 core is only 7552 on this one. So I think we're right. I think we're right on track here. So. And my son said he really likes it. He did some video stuff today on it. Said it's super fast and doesn't lock up anymore. Sometimes when we were in his Delgado software, it would lock up the notebook and he'd have to reboot it. So he's not getting that anymore. So I think operation is successful. To cram it all in his desk like he wanted it, we had to put the PC kind of sideways up against the wall. Hooked him up a couple of speakers here. It's got a subwoofer for this as well. I just don't know where to put it. And there's the little amp for it there. It's got a subwoofer button here, or a knob here. You can increase the bass, and then it's got a separate volume control and off switch here. So that's kind of cool. You get a snowball mic, and his Delgado is sitting up here. You can't even see it, it's pretty dark. But anyway, there's the Delgado. He's got it sitting up here by his TV. So, all right, I think we are at the end of this build. It's been real. It's been fun. Took many hours, a little bit more than what I was expecting, because I spent all that time troubleshooting that memory. And because of that, I wound up reloading the OS and installing all of his apps and everything, backing up his data, which I really didn't have to do because it wasn't a drive problem, it was a memory problem, and I could have just, you know, had I gotten the right memory the first time, or good memory, we'd have had this thing up and running last night easy. So, all right, that's it. Have a great one, man.